What's going on, everybody? Victor here with a brand new video, and I'm here to talk about tonight's UFC Fight Night via the UFC Apex facility. You guys better hold on to this while you still can, because the UFC is trying to get back to international waters. Yes, the UFC is trying to bring these fight nights overseas, back to London, England, where it hasn't been in almost 2 years. They're working on a September 4th date, and maybe Darren Till is going to be headlining that card. You never know, but things haven't been finalized yet. It haven't been official, but just something to get forward to. But let's forget about that for a split second. I'm here to talk about a premier matchup in the welterweight division, one of the most stacked, if not the most stacked division within the UFC promotion itself. The young phenom straight out of Miami, Florida itself, Miguel Baeza, with an undefeated record of 10-0, 7 KOs, 1 submission in his career, is here to fight one of the best, if not the best, fighters out of Argentina, one of the most largest Hispanic countries, if not the largest Hispanic country in the world. The man fighting out of there, Santiago Ponzinibbio, with a 28-4 record, 15 KOs, 6 submissions. So with all these different types of finishes, this fight is guaranteed not to go the full 3 rounds. It's going to be filled with a lot of action. This is definitely the odds-on favorite fight in the whole entire fight card to be the fight of the night, because these guys are hungry, these guys are starving, these guys want a win, these guys want to break in to that top 10 or at least the top 8 of the UFC rankings in the welterweight division, and that's going to mean something extremely big for the both of them, especially Miguel Baeza. He's going to be fighting a seasoned veteran in Santiago Ponzinibbio that's been with the promotion for a very, very long time. And Santiago, if you don't know him, he was out for about 2 to 3 years before fully coming back from that long hiatus that he was on. He fought Li Jingliang, who is another underrated, because I consider Santiago Ponzinibbio to be a very underrated welterweight fighter in this division. He fought Li Jingliang, and he lost that fight via TKO, mostly because of all the ring rust that he's coming in. When you're not fighting for that long, when you haven't been in competition for so long, ring rust is only going to accumulate over the months, over the years. And it's not going to do you any justice when you go into your first fight back from that hiatus, back from that long layoff, and it definitely showed against Li Jingliang, which is how Santiago lost that fight. And just to let you guys know, before the long layoff, he was on a 7-fight win streak with the UFC. He was ranked in the top 10. He defeated guys such as Mike Perry, such as Neil Magny, finished a lot of other guys in that division. I believe he also defeated Gunnar Nelson as well. So those are just some of the names to throw out there that Santiago Ponzinibbio has defeated. He is no easy out, especially for a young gun such as Miguel Baeza. He's only 28 years old, and Santiago Ponzinibbio is 34 years old. So obviously there is a little bit of a discrepancy when it comes to the age, but when it comes to height, when it comes to reach, it's basically almost identical. So both these guys are basically built the same, and both these guys are just trying to come in here, trying to get a quick finish, and trying to come out of this fight unscathed. Like I said, Santiago Ponzinibbio is trying to get back into that top 10 where he was before the long layoff, and I believe that last loss that he suffered against Li Jingliang, a fight that he was most likely supposed to win, and he didn't. I believe that's going to light a fire in his soul. It's going to bring a lot of motivation for him coming into this fight, basically fighting this young and hungry wolf. This is the young and hungry wolf trying to come in here to kill the basically thriving lion, if you think about it. And Miguel Baeza, his last 3 fights have been all in the UFC. They've all been victories. They've all been finishes. His last 2 fights were against Takashi Soto, where he finished them via triangle choke, and then his fight before that was against the immortal Matt Brown, who is a legend in the sport of mixed martial arts, a legend in the UFC. He finished him via TKO. So being able to finish those 2 individuals basically tells you that this guy is the real deal. A product of Dana White's Contender Series. He is definitely, without a doubt, one of the most spirited and most special prospects to come out of Dana White's Contender Series. And Dana White basically has that series to try to find talent from all around the world to bring him into the UFC, instead of putting him inside of the tough house and trying to figure out if he can be able to find his next champion. Miguel Baeza might be that next champion if he can win this fight that he has against Santiago Ponzinibbio. And Santiago Ponzinibbio out of those 4 losses that he has in his record, because he's 28-4, those 3 losses that he has out of those 4 have been by knockout. So Miguel Baeza can possibly come here in this fight and knock Santiago Ponzinibbio out, because those have been the majority of the losses that he has on his record. But Santiago Ponzinibbio, like I said, he has 15 KOs and he has 6 finishes. Those are a lot of finishes to have in your career out of those 28 victories that you have. That's extremely legit. And Santiago Ponzinibbio is one of the most elite strikers in the UFC. He likes to get in your grill. He likes to get all up in your guard, in your face. He likes to pressure you. He likes to make you commit the mistakes, and he likes to capitalize on it. And when he fought Neil Magny in his native Argentina, he was basically the main fight of that card. He had a lot of pressure on him, but when he went out there, he just pressured. He made Neil Magny commit to mistakes. Neil Magny was basically crumbling up to the pressure before Santiago knocked him out. That's something that I expect for Santiago to do in this matchup against Miguel Baeza. But Miguel Baeza, he's battle-tested. He's already had a couple fights in the UFC. He's had 3. He's finished all those opponents, young, old, you name it. This guy is coming in here to get the finish as well. He's not going to back up. He's going to go straight. Both these guys are on a collision course. They hit one another. They try to knock each other out. And if he goes to the floor, I can see in a couple of scenarios that there's going to be some beautiful rolls, because Santiago Ponzinibbio has 6 submissions in his record. He is a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, so he's very seasoned on the floor with his grappling, with his Jiu-Jitsu. And Miguel Baeza, he might only have 1 submission victory in his whole entire career, but like I said, he's 10-0. He's only 10-0. He only has 10 fights versus the 28 plus 15 fights that, the 28 and 4 fights that Santiago Ponzinibbio has. That's 32 fights in total. So 32 plus 10 right there. My math is obviously terrible, but obviously 32 is a larger number than 10, and it's basically triples that. He has triple the amount of fights that Miguel Baeza has in his career. But if I'm Santiago Ponzinibbio, I think I'm going to want to get this fight to the ground as fast as I possibly can. Obviously, he's a striker. He likes to get the knockouts, but I'm going to try to set him up. I'm going to try to go for some double legs or some single legs. I'm going to try to take this fight to the ground. Santiago Ponzinibbio has been taken down in the past. He did get taken down by Mike Perry when they fought each other. Mike Perry isn't the most successful wrestler or successful grappler or wrestler out there. So if you were able to get taken down by Mike Perry, then you're most likely going to be taken down by Miguel Baeza, because Miguel Baeza is a lot crispier, a lot cleaner fighter, and more of a technical fighter than Mike Perry is. So if I'm Miguel Baeza, I'm going to watch out for the takedown attempts. I'm going to try to keep the fight on the feet. If Santiago tries to go in for the takedown, get the knee ready, try to throw a knee in there and push him, and then just keep circling around the cage until you can be able to get back towards the center of the octagon, where you can be able to throw some nice combinations and some leg kicks. Miguel Baeza has got some beautiful leg kicks, and he's very fast as well. If I have to give someone the speed advantage, I'm going to say this fight's going to be equal when it comes to the speed advantage. When it comes to the power advantage, I'm going to give it to Santiago Ponzinibbio. But when it comes to the motivation coming in this matchup, I think Miguel Baeza has everything. He has all the tools in his arsenal in order to win this matchup. And Santiago, if I'm him, I want to get this win no matter what, because the UFC is putting Miguel Baeza in this position to try to get him up higher into the UFC welterweight rankings, and Santiago Ponzinibbio should be mad as anything at the UFC for trying to get a young guy such as Miguel Baeza to try to get a win off of his name in order to catapult him into the rankings of the welterweight division. If I'm Santiago Ponzinibbio, I want to prove the UFC wrong. I want to basically tell him, look, I'm going to get this W, and I'm going to prove to every single one of you that put this fight together, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, and Dana White, that I've still got it, and I'm still considered one of the best welterweights in the whole entire world, even though I'm not ranked in that top 15, but I will be very, very soon. If you ask me ask me who I think is going to win this matchup, I think it's going to be Santiago Ponzinibbio. I believe he's going to land Miguel Baeza his first loss in his whole entire career. I believe the UFC is kind of pushing Miguel Baeza pretty far. He basically jumped the ladder with this matchup, because those previous opponents that Miguel Baeza has had, they were good opponents, but they're not as good as Santiago Ponzinibbio. And I believe coming into this matchup, all the rust that he had in this previous matchup against Li Jingliang will be gone. He's going to be faster. He's going to be cleaner with his strikes. His takedown attempts are going to be a whole lot stronger and a whole lot more accurate. And Miguel Baeza, I believe, like I said, this is going to be a fire fight. This is going to be left and right. This is going to be a battle of attrition. Whoever can last longer is going to win this fight. Whoever has the burning desire more to win this fight is going to come out of there with their hand raised. So I can't wait for this matchup. I believe this matchup is going to be fireworks. There's a possibility it's going to be fight of the night, but there are a lot of other great fighters that are on this card that could possibly spoil that wish that both those fighters have. But this is a premier matchup in the welterweight division. Like I just said, two great fighters, a young and upcoming prospect versus a seasoned and very, very dangerous veteran. I hope you guys enjoy the fights tonight. I'm going to put out at least another maybe 2 or 3 more videos because there are a lot of great matchups in this, and I hope you guys enjoy. Stay blessed and stay safe.